Hello you beautiful people, I hope you guys are all doing well. So in this video today I am going to be talking about all the tips you need to take your own photos, to self-shoot, because we are still in a panoramic, whatever you want to call it. We are still stuck in our houses. Well, some of us are. And whether you're a content creator or whether you love to solo travel or just started solo traveling and you're thinking about who's going to take my photos, I'm hoping this video will help. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Belle Michelle. I do mainly travel and fashion content, and I sprinkle a bit of hair and lifestyle and skincare into there sometimes. I'm hoping by the end of this video, apologies, I'm filming in the room that's directly close to my husband's game room. Why, I don't know, but it's pretty late and this was the only place that has good lighting with my ring light, and I have extra lights as well. So you might hear him shouting sometimes. I will try to put some lovely music behind the video so that you don't hear him too much. Keba! Anyway, as I was saying, I'm hoping by the end of this video you're convinced to subscribe, and if you are a return subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So I recently hosted my first ever Clubhouse room. If you guys don't know what Clubhouse is, it's a new app. I think it's in its beta stage right now. Think of Zoom but without the video, with just the voices. I explained a bit about what it is in my last vlog, so check out that vlog. I will put it in the iClouds here to find out a bit more information about Clubhouse. But it's basically an app where you have different rooms and you can have different topics. Thank you so much to Jessica the Ifuoma, Tanaka Travels, and Palumi, who is the Black Kinsuki, I hope I pronounced that right, on Instagram, because I DM'd all of them and I was like, would you guys like to host this room with me, because it is my first one, and they all did. So I said in the room that I would also make a video on my channel just collating all the tips that were shared, so that you guys, and also for the people who missed out and for the people that aren't on Clubhouse, because Clubhouse now is actually only for iPhone users. Sorry to you Android users. If you were in the room, we broke it down into 4 parts. First is the preparation, second is what you'll need, and then the 2 were shooting on a DSLR, self-shooting on a DSLR camera versus self-shooting on an iPhone. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is preparation. Before you even start self-shooting, prepare yourself. Location scouting, and you can even do that on your day-to-day. Well, I know now we're not really going out, but if in your mind you can think of areas that, oh, I've been here and it was really nice, and I think that there's this outfit that I want to shoot and it will look really good there. In terms of if you want to be taking fashion content, location scouting is the best. And if you're a fashion content creator, I would say try to have at least 2 or 3 locations that you rotate throughout, because you can take the same photos in the same location, but you can maybe take it in this side or that side or this side, so it doesn't always look the same. Although there are some people now on Instagram that take their photos literally in the same locations, the same location, but they just change their outfits. I personally am not into that aesthetic, but each their own. Now if you're taking travel photos or you're doing a solo trip, location scouting might look like mood boarding. So before you're going on any trip or before you're going on any hotel stays, look at the hotel before you go and think of places that you might want to take pictures in, or even while you're there on your first day, ask the receptionist, because sometimes they will know places around the hotels or in the local areas that you can go to self-shoot. And sometimes maybe if you're anxious about self-shooting, they can actually take the photos for you. Receptionists, sometimes even cab drivers are really good, or even tour guides are really good at taking photos, especially if you're going to a touristy destination, because they've probably had about 100 people before asking them to take a picture in a particular way. What also comes under preparation is planning your outfits. That is whether you're doing solo traveling or whether you're doing fashion shoots. If I know I'm going to take a picture of, actually let me grab an outfit now. So I have this dress from V-Label, which is a subsidiary of Virgo's Lounge. I packed this dress when I was going to Fethiye in Turkey. I'll insert some photos, and I knew, okay, this dress is good to wear if I'm going to a restaurant or something like that. I knew the hotel that I was staying at had a really famous restaurant in Fethiye, and then I looked online. This is another tip. Once you've booked your hotel, or even before you've booked your hotel, hotels can catfish as well. Go on Instagram, go on Google, but I would mainly say Instagram, and put the hotel in the geo tag, and you'll be able to see pictures that other people have taken in that hotel. And you'll also be able to see what the hotel looks like now, because some of the pictures they've taken might have been from years ago. So that's another part of preparation, and you can see what sort of outfit you want to take there or what certain areas. Another great tool you can use Instagram for is actually poses, so you can get inspiration on how to pose. And that actually goes on to my next tip for preparation. Plan your poses beforehand. If you don't have a mirror in your house, get a mirror, or any mirror that you can find in your house. Plan your poses. Number one, it will make your shoot go by really quicker, because there are some outfits that you don't have to do a lot. So for instance, if you have outfits that have a lot of folds, maybe you have a thigh split, have a lot going on in the arms, the outfit speaks for itself. You just have to do minimal poses, You guys will notice on my Instagram, the hand on the hair or here or here or here, that is my pose and it's my safe spot. Find your safe spot, find your pose. Certain outfits will do well with certain pose. Have you ever seen a picture where someone has taken it and the outfit looks nice, but the outfit is just not screaming? And I'm thinking, if you pose a certain way or angled the picture another way, picture would have banged. But unfortunately you didn't. See, a picture is just, it's just not, we don't want nice, okay? We want extraordinary. We want those pictures that when people are scrolling, they scroll back, double tap, zoom in, save, they want to come back to them. Also, if you're self-shooting in public, it will just help with your shoot going by quicker, which means that you can be out of there and back home or in your car away from the staring people a lot quicker. Lastly, we have the time that you should shoot. So there are certain times in the day that are better to shoot than others, especially if there's sunlight. So for instance, if there's direct sunlight and the sun is out in full force, then it's better to shoot early in the morning or to shoot in the evening, when you, not evening, but just before sunset, when you have that sort of golden hour. You want to avoid shooting in midday, because at midday the sun is directly above your eyes and it will cast a shadow. Now, I gave this example in the room. So I recently started wearing eyelashes, and I remember, I think I still posted the picture on my Instagram, and the picture doesn't actually look that bad. But when I took those pictures and I was looking back at them, I was thinking, why does it look like I have panda eyes and I have a mustache? And that's because I was wearing these really extravagant eyelashes, and because the sun is above my head, it is casting the shadow, so my eyelashes are shadowing my eyes. Also, sometimes you might have your nose shadowing here or shadowing your mouth, or it looks like you have a mustache, and it doesn't look great. You can work with it, but it's just a bit harder, and especially if you are self-shooting, it will take you a lot longer to get the shots that you want. Preparation is so key. So the next up is the equipment that you will need. Now, I have an Amazon store. It is an affiliate Amazon store. What that means is just that if you buy anything from there, I will get a percentage. It doesn't affect what you pay. There's no price increase on what you pay. It just means Amazon pays me for recommending that to you and for you buying it. So essentially, it's just me being blessed for my hard work, alhamdulillah, and I think you want me to be blessed, okay? Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. I have my Amazon store links below, and what I've done in there is I've put all the things that I use and also some of the things that the guys suggested in the room as well that you might need. So the first is obviously a tripod. Now, the type of tripod that you will need will depend on what you're shooting with. So if you're shooting with an iPhone, you'll need a tripod that will be suitable for your iPhone. And with iPhone tripods, what you're basically looking for are things like this. I just got the 12 Max. Thank you to hubby for getting it for me. It fits my 12 Max perfectly, and then this would screw onto the tripod or whatever else I'm using, and then you can use that. So for DSLRs, I suggest getting a much more sturdy iPod. I shoot on an A/D, and the majority of the photos I take are actually on my A/D. I've directly linked, well, the tripod I got is actually from Curry's PC World. I will link it in the description bar below, but there's another one that I recently ordered from Amazon. It's been delivered, but to my house in England. But I would definitely recommend those two. They are a bit, well, it depends what you determine as pricey, but I know that there are cheaper alternatives. Like I said, a lot of these DSLRs are worth like over £1,000 now. Do not skimmage on your tripod, and especially if you're using a DSLR, also get the tripods that can flip so that your camera can not just film now how I'm filming, which is in landscape, but can also film vertically in portrait as well. And if you're traveling, I would also suggest, as well as getting the big tripods, also get one of these. So I have the direct link in my Amazon store as well, but this is essentially, it's a version of a GorillaPod. Oh my god, this is my best travel buddy right now. Number one, it can fit not just my DSLR, it can also fit my iPhone. So this clip that I showed you guys before literally twists on here, and also my DSLR that I'm filming on right now fits on here as well. So this is perfect when you're traveling and you don't want to carry the big bulky tripods, and you don't want to have to carry two tripods. You can literally just go with this one. It's compact, and this is so sturdy, so sturdy, as in I have a video on my Instagram where I had it while I was in Cappadocia. I had my DSLR on it, I was wrapping it around a tree, and it stood. My DSLR is intact. It literally gripped it on to that tree, and I was able to shoot in portrait mode. That's the one bad thing with this. It is hard to shoot in portrait mode with this because obviously it doesn't have the facility to shoot on an angle, although you can sort sort of twist it on an angle a tiny bit, but not that much. You get what I mean? Like, you really have to do a lot to get it to shoot on vertical. But for traveling, this is amazing. Now, other things you might want to be thinking about is if you're self-shooting in your house or maybe inside rather than outside, is lighting. So the one that everyone knows is a ring light. A ring light is a more harsh light, especially if you don't have a filter over it as well. I do like my ring light, however I do prefer soft boxes as well. So soft boxes are like these big boxes and they just distribute light better, so you have a more softer light, and sometimes you can manipulate your softbox to where it can actually look like natural light. Whereas ring lights, I feel like you would be able to see that I'm filming with artificial lights right now. I've linked both in my Amazon store before, so definitely check it out, and I would definitely recommend investing in some lighting if you're shooting inside. Also, if you're traveling, you have those small ring lights that you can travel and you can put on top of your camera or you can put on top of your iPhone. That actually goes on to shooting at night. I didn't mention that, but yeah, in terms of shooting at night, because some people did mention, and I know now there's a trend of like nighttime fashion. I'm just coming from Hakkasan and I'm just in New Bond Street. Nighttime shooting is hard, but I think iPhones have made it easier, only because one of my friends actually forced me to do it. I can't lie, changed my life a bit. So this is a shot that we took at night. When you're shooting at night, and in terms of lighting, I would suggest going to places where, if you're in London, there's like New Bond Street or Wembley, you have those stores, so they keep their lights on 24/7. If you stand in front of that light, get someone to take a picture of you, that is really good lighting. Also, the flash on the newer iPhones 11 and the 12 are amazing. The only problem with taking photos at night is that you will have a lot of noise. So noise in photography is basically that whole grainy thing that you see on photos, and it's really hard to edit photos that are darker, and especially photos that are taken at night and taken on your phone. If you are going to shoot at night, I would say number one, try and shoot in RAW, so that when it comes to after editing, you can do a lot more editing and manipulate it. And lastly, a remote control. I personally don't use remote controls. Like I said, I shoot mainly on my DSLR, and with a lot of DSLR cameras, you now have apps on your phone that you can use. With the apps, your phone can actually act as a viewfinder, so you can visually see what your photo is going to look like. Whereas sometimes if you're using the remotes, literally you're going to have to take more photos because you don't know. You could be thinking, yeah, yes, it's always good to take some test shots beforehand, but if you're in a bit of a rush and you're just going yes, and then you look at your photos afterwards and you're like, if you're shooting with an iPhone, they also have self-timers as well. So once you've done all of that, you've prepped, you've got all the items that you need, you are now ready to shoot. So when it comes to shooting on your iPhone, I have done some self-shooting on my iPhone, but 90% of my shoots are on my DSLR. However, Palumi and Jessica did give some tips in the room, and I did note them down. On some of the newer iPhones, you will know that you have live mode. Live mode is a bit of like a moving picture. Think about a boomerang. I personally like to put light mode on, but I know some people don't, because sometimes, not light mode, with live mode. So with live mode, sometimes it might choose the frame that you necessarily did not want, and then the frame that you do want is of a lesser quality, but you can take a lot of good pictures with live mode. And if you take a video on live mode, there are also some new effects that Apple have introduced, like loop and bounce and long exposure. So that is some of the benefits of shooting on live mode. But like I say, it really just depends on you and what you want to do and the type of shot that you want to take. Make sure that you go in your settings and that your iPhone is shooting or filming at the highest resolution. So if you want to take some videos, make sure it's shooting at 4K, because a lot of iPhones can do that now, just to make sure you can get the best image. And that's really it when it comes to iPhones. So in terms of cameras, pick the one you like. There's Nikon, there's Sony and Canon. I am a Canon person. On our panel, Jessica and Tanaka were Sony people, so we had a balance, which was great, which meant that we could give advice on both. The thing I like about DSLRs is that they have apps now that you can actually use as remotes, and also because the apps are on your phone, you can use them as viewfinders. So with Canon, the one I like to use is called Cam Connect. It can have some hiccups here and there, but for the most part it's amazing. I like the fact that I can use it as a viewfinder. The viewfinder sometimes can be a bit slow, that's one of the hiccups, but it still works really well. The other thing I like is that also in the app there's 3 different ways you can shoot. You can shoot where you have a 10-second delay. That gives you time to hide your phone, get into position, and then it will click. You also have the 2-second option. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll see that I have some photos where you can actually see my phone. I'm using my phone as a prop, but my phone is actually my remote, and I use that 2-second one when I'm strapped for time and I'm just trying to get a shot. And then the third option you have is continuous shooting. Say for instance you want to take any moving photos, so that multiple shooting is really good for that. And the tip is, don't actually walk to the camera, but just rock back and forth. It will take continuous shots, and I'm sure you'd be able to get the shot that you want. And then the other thing I like about the app is that you can actually switch from video to photo on the app, which is great. You don't have to go to your camera, and you can also transfer your photos that are on your camera directly onto your phone as well, which is great if you want to take photos and edit them straight away. Now for Sony, I think you have Play Memories, you also have Image Edge, and there's another one, Camera Remote. That's it. So those are the 3 for Sony, and you can also use the physical remotes with your DSLRs, but like I said, like the phone, because you can have it as a viewfinder. Now the other thing you want to think about with your physical cameras is the lens that you're using. So most cameras will come with a kit lens, and with the kit lens, I think on the Canon it's the 18-55mm lens. You can take some amazing shots with your kit lens, and once you've mastered the kit lens, the next lens I would suggest people to get is a pancake or a prime lens. So this is one of my prime lenses. This is the 50mm lens. The majority of the photos you see on my Instagram, or the majority of my travel and fashion photos, I take on this prime lens. The only downside to these prime lenses is that you can't zoom in and out, but it doesn't really affect me. But yeah, you can't zoom in and out, but the prime lenses will give you that very blurred background. But yes, those are the 2 lenses that I would say you really need. There are other lenses you can use, but I would say they're more like advanced. To get really amazing photos, you can get them with your kit lens, and then to take it up a notch, prime lens 100%. Now in terms of settings, so whenever I'm shooting on my camera, I always put on autofocus and auto stability, and with the ISO I put it as automatic as well, just to make it easier for myself. Another tip that was mentioned is getting an ND filter for your camera, and what an ND filter does is you can adjust the amount of light that is coming into your camera, and that's really everything you need when you're shooting with your DSLR. Now another thing, whether you're shooting with DSLR or with your iPhone, is the angle. I think the best angle to shoot at is to have your camera actually lower than you. It will, number one, if you're short, it gives the illusion that you're taller, and also if you have tall buildings or anything like that, you're able to see the skies and the buildings, and I just think visually it looks a bit better. Other way you can also shoot is at the normal height. So this is usually like up to your chest area, and this I would say is good for close-ups. If you're really trying to get your top, maybe you have some shades and you want to get a really close-up look. The other one you have is taller than you, or a bird's eye view. It's just about knowing your angles and just seeing what works for you. Like I said before, practice your posing. That will really help. And also, if you're taking photos solo traveling, get into the mindset that I don't know you people, I'm probably never going to see you again. I always give the example of, while I was in Cappadocia, we went to this open air chimney museum. That's the point when I was literally wrapping my gorilla pod around a tree. There was 2 photographers that came with a bride and a groom, and I think they wanted to take a shot where I was. They were mean mugging me. The bride was mean mugging me, and I know she was hot as hell in her dress. The dress is gorgeous, and I told her, you look gorgeous babe, but I was here first and I'm going to get my shot. You have to be very intentional with your content and say, I'm never going to see you again, I'm going to get this shot, and literally think of the shot in your mind. And then lastly, we're going to get into some of the apps that were suggested. So the big one that everyone was talking about was obviously Lightroom and After Effects. You can do so much on there. You can turn the most basic photo into something extraordinary. Now if you've never used Lightroom before, there are a plethora of videos here on YouTube, even blog posts that show you how to use Lightroom, teach you how to do certain things on Lightroom. Some other ones were VISCO. I know VISCO has a function on there where you can use that grain, remember that noise I talked about, and some people like that for their aesthetic. I know VISCO is a really good one for that. You also have Snapseed, you have Enlight. I really like Enlight because they have this heal option. Say for instance, like today, I have this nonsense thing that has come on my head that needs to go. If I took a shot, because that is usually not on my head, I would use that heal option on Lightroom and just take it away. Don't go over excessive with it and start like contouring or taking out any other things that are natural to your face. And they have some good, not filters, but you can really adjust exposure and all of that stuff on your phone. You also have photo summary, which was also mentioned in the group, and you have Facetune. So Facetune has that whitening option. If say for instance I took a picture here and the whiting wasn't whiting as much as I would like it to white, I could literally make it white and be whiter. You also have the smoothing option on Facetune, but once again, don't go over excessive with it. I know there are some people that have made their brand or their aesthetic being having that smooth face. I'm sorry, I think it looks That's mad. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to offend anyone. If the shoe fits, the shoe fits. What are you going to do? Carry me on your head? It is what it is. I think it's good to maybe smooth certain areas, but to just smooth out your whole face and just make it look very matte, each to their own, but it's not a bit of me at all. Some other apps that are really good for travel content or editing travel photos, one is called LD. So this is really good if you want to add effects like say rain or even sunshine or fog or even snow. Say for instance you took a picture and you were on a ski trip and it was snowy, but it wasn't snowing as much as you would want to. You can add a bit of extra snow and the snow looks really real. That's the main thing. You also have Adobe Photoshop Fix, and that one is really good. It has a healing option as well. So those are all the tips that I have for you guys. Thank you to everyone that came to the Clubhouse room. It was such an informative chat, and I've been going back and forth with some of you guys on my DM, and I know some of you found it really helpful, and I'm just so happy that I did it. But I hope this video was really helpful. What I'm also going to do is when I'm back in England, I'm going to have a shoot day where I'm self-shooting, and I will take you guys along with me so you can visually see how I do it, because I think that will help as well. But if you like this video, definitely please give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And like I said before, if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you've got all the way to the end, I think you like me by now. I mean, I've given you all this free information. The least you can do is subscribe so you can continue to get free information. This is for your own benefit, really. You're playing yourself if you don't. And in the meantime, while you're subscribing and clicking the notification bell as well, if you like this video, I think you might like this video here or this video here. Click on either of those and let me continue to entertain and educate you. I hope you guys have a good morning, evening, afternoon, or wherever you're watching my video. I will see you all in my next video.